Hey everyone, it's Lindsey Baker with the Action Hour, and I am at Steampunk Farms Rescue Barn. Look at what we've got here. Hi, Krystal. Krystal's on camera for us, and we are seeing some of the wonderful, happy, lucky residents here at Steampunk Farms Rescue Barn. How are you doing, Krystal?
Pretty good, thank you.
Oh my gosh. Can you kind of pan around a little bit and then come on camera? Like, can you go in a little closer on those babies? They're those little teeny guys I see.
Let's see.
Right in the middle of the shot. Who's in there?
This is our main, we call them the hay eater yard, but this is donkeys, goats, sheep, and cows.
Woohoo!
Yard.
Oh my goodness, look at those babies. How sweet.
This is Smokey and Nikki here.
Hi, Smokey.
Look really small compared to donkeys.
Yes, I thought they were babies. I go, who are the babies?
No, that's Cherry and her sister Rainier.
It's so great that they're allowed to wander about. And what is that? Some sort of steel enclosure to keep the sun away and protect them?
This is a new structure that we just put up a couple weeks ago. We had some volunteers come out from a couple of different organizations. There were some people from LA Animal Save and Orange County Animal Save and Animal Alliance Network, and everybody came out and we were able to get this big structure finally in the air, because these 8x24-foot panels were just not something we could lift on our own. So it was great having everybody out to get these up, and it's a whole lot of shade. And then when winter comes, we'll have a little bit of safe space for the animals to eat that's out of the wind and the snow. So this is going to be a year-round benefit. We're really happy with this.
Wow. I imagine that would be quite expensive to build something like that.
It was. This was about a $5,000 structure.
Wow. So I know you have different fundraisers going on all the time, and we're going to get into that a little bit later, but let's look around a little bit more. Actually, maybe if you come back on camera, while you're doing that, while you're flipping, I'm going to play a little video that's going to show a lot more of the animals, and we're going to come back to see more of them in just a moment. So just stay where you are with the camera that way for now. All right, that was so fun. And of course, you drew the logo, and you do those logos for Steampunk for each season or any event, and then you can get them on a beautiful t-shirt. We're going to be going to that page in a little bit, so people stay tuned. But just in case people do have to go and they like to learn more about you, let's just share real quickly here, because sometimes people can't stay on and they jump on for a moment. Let's go to your Facebook page for a moment here. So here's where you can go and learn more. And there happens to be a fundraiser going on right now, critical fundraiser for pig neuters, which we'll hear from Krystal about in a few minutes here. I got some other stuff going on here. But yeah, you can check out this Facebook page there, and we'll come back to that a little bit later. So Krystal, how did you get started? I didn't formally introduce you. I'm so sorry. I got so caught up in the sanctuary. We definitely want to see more of that. And I'm going to show some photos of some of the animals, because this isn't a zoo, and we know that the animals come and go as they please. They're certainly very lucky to be there. But your name is Krystal Tronboll, and you and your husband and you are the co-founders of Steampunk Sanctuary Rescue Farm. And you started about 6 years ago. So tell us, how did you get involved? How did it all start?
It started actually when we first moved out here. We had ideas that we would be a homestead. We actually bought our first chickens thinking we would have eggs, and I was going to get goats for milk. It was really a far cry from a sanctuary. And when I first started looking at goats, I noticed that they were being sold for hundreds of dollars and being advertised with papers and all sorts of lineage and sire and dam and things that I just wasn't particularly interested in paying for. And so I put out a general email to the community asking people if they had any goats that were not show worthy or not from a pedigree that could be sold for this sort of show environment. And I was absolutely awestruck in a bad way by how many requests I got to take goats. People who just didn't want them anymore, or they had become a nuisance, or family members divorced or moved away, or whatever it was. And I had a very, very quick change of heart, realizing that in order to get milk from these animals, that I'd need to breed them. And I couldn't possibly justify breeding when there were so many emails and phone calls and voicemails coming in from everybody who just wanted me to take their goats off their hands already. And so it really was a very quick shift mentally and psychologically for me, from wanting to breed these animals to realizing that there was absolutely no reason or justification even for doing such a thing. So we became a goat sanctuary, and we were primarily goats, almost exclusively goats, for about 6 months. And then when I went to go pick up a pair of goats, it was a buck and a pregnant doe. And when I went to go pick them up, the family also had a little tiny disabled piglet who was born to the sow that they bought with the intention of butchering her and selling her babies, or selling her babies and then butchering her. And they asked me to take this little runt disabled piglet as well. And she opened our eyes and our home and our hearts to pigs. And it was just, it was fantastic living with her and seeing everyone's reaction to a pig. They had never considered a pig as anything more than food. And at the time, we were still a small enough sanctuary that we were leaving the house. I don't do that anymore. This is a full-time plus job. But at the time, we were still leaving. And so Poppy would go with us to Home Depot and Albertsons and Girl Scout meetings, and everywhere else that I went, she went. And seeing the public's reaction to a farm pig, a pig that is essentially the animal that they eat without thinking twice. And I had already been a vegetarian for many, many years, But having Poppy, even for just the few months that she survived, was really it, it was life altering for me, and she was really the motivation to become a full all species sanctuary, a fully vegan family and household.
Wow.
In about those first 6 months of being a goat rescue that we really made the transition to being a fully vegan family with an all species sanctuary.
That's phenomenal. I just want to go over some of the comments. Tom Vincel, who is one of our fabulous regulars here on the show and on many of the channels on Jane Unchained, he has a question. Did she say show ghost? Oh yeah. So apparently, can you just answer that for him about show goats? Wasn't familiar that there are such a thing.
Oh yeah, it's primarily a youth activity through like 4-H and FFA. They raise the goats with they have to have, each breed has these specifications that they must meet in terms of color and markings and shape and size and just all sorts of stuff that I really don't fully know the details of, because I'm not at all interested in creating the perfect ideal textbook goat that's completely arbitrary. Somebody wrote down some desired qualities and they've decided that this is what they'll breed for. But those animals are shown and they win awards for the children who walk them around the ring, much like a dog show. They walk them around the ring and they make them stand in a couple of poses so that they can be judged on their meat worthiness, essentially, or their dairy worthiness, whether they're a meat breed or a dairy breed. And then they're auctioned off at the end, typically by the pound or sometimes by the head.
Oh
and
my God. Well, when you think about it, when you think about dogs and dog show, the only thing we don't do is eat them, except in Asia, some countries they do eat them. And, by their reasoning that we eat pigs and cows and goats, well, we don't eat goats so much, but we exploit them for their cheese, et cetera, as you're explaining, and then discard them like they're just junk. But I mean, it's the same thing. We just don't eat them. So dog shows are just as bad. I think it's animal exploitation any way you look at it. That's my opinion.
For sure.
I just wanted to give a shout out to Jamie Saunders, who's a fellow contributor on Jane Unchained, and she is asking people to please donate. And of course, that would be wonderful. You can see that Jamie gets people to come out and help for free so she can make that money, spread that money as thin as possible and get as much value out of it. And that's the wonderful thing about sanctuaries, and that are many wonderful sanctuaries opening up and doing this great work. And they're so much more effective than large organizations. If people donate to these smaller, more it's kind of like hand to mouth. It goes right to work, and it's so great. And I think you should start to think about that, because as you say, more and more people are raising their consciousness, realizing that this, like you thought you didn't think it was a bad thing what you were doing, eggs and milk, but your consciousness shifted. And that's happening a lot. So you guys are so valuable to us, and we have to support you, all the sanctuaries. But in this case, we're talking about Steampunk Farms. So we want people, if you possibly can, donate, even whatever little bit, it goes so far. So just wanted to say that. What would you like to talk about? I know you wanted to talk about potbelly pigs a little bit. Did you want to talk about that a bit?
Yeah, potbelly pigs are not not as much of a meat animal as the farm breed pigs, but they really are a concern for sanctuaries because they are still classified as livestock animals, and they are eaten in this country. They're often referred to as lard pigs. They're often butchered primarily for their fat. But they really take up a big chunk of most sanctuaries I'm aware of, the resources and the time and the space that we have set aside for potbelly pigs, when it would be better if we could devote that to animals who are being exploited by large industries. But the reason the potbelly pigs the requests are coming in every single day is because they're being bred with unrealistic expectations and no regulations. There's nothing that says a backyard breeder can't pump out litter after litter after litter after litter. They can sell them on Craigslist. They end up giving them away because there often aren't even enough buyers. There's no spay and neuter regulations like there are for cats and dogs in most counties now. And so the potbelly pig population is really out of control. And it's creating a really big burden on sanctuaries because we are asked to help those animals, even though they really kind of fall somewhere in between being a companion animal and being a traditional, livestock or meat animal. We have almost 200 potbelly pigs here.
200?
And time and money that they're just abandoned pets. They are.
Did you say 200?
Yeah.
Krystal? 200. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And
I think it might be a good time. You can continue talking about this, but maybe can you show the grounds where I know that we have here and it's true that you are the largest, let's say we have the largest farm sanctuary that you never heard of. So we want to change that today and let people hear about you. So show us what you got.
Let me grab my hat here and I'll head down.
Go ahead. In the meantime, I'll show this fabulous logo. This was for the 4th of July that she did. And every season she does a different logo design and they're on t-shirts. That's another way you can support. Plus she gets something to wear and you could wear this on the 4th of July. She does them for different seasons. So there's a Christmas one. And it's a lot of fun. Instead of wearing an ugly t-shirt, you can wear that. So here we go. All right. We are on the farm. So we are checking out Steampunk Farms Rescue Sanctuary. We're getting a fabulous free tour by Krystal Tronboll, who is one of the 2 co-founders. And we're seeing here some of the animals in the enclosure, and it just looks like a paradise for the animals. So Krystal, are you there?
Yeah, let me get here to the main potbelly pig yard.
Okay, now if you're just tuning in, she was saying that there's actually 200 potbelly pigs, most of them discarded by people who got them and thought they were so cute until they got big. And some of them are winding up in the meat industry. Others are just being, given away. Go ahead, Krystal, take it from here. Go ahead. We're having a little trouble hearing you.
Are you there?
We're there. We're here. We had a little trouble. You cut out for a bit. Are you back? Krystal?
Lindsey.
Yes.
Lindsey,
I don't think you can go out there. Maybe your Wi-Fi isn't.
Is it too?
Your Wi-Fi may not be able to cover that area. You might need to step back because we can't hear you where you are. We can see a picture, but it's frozen. Can you try coming back in? I'm going to put on a video for a moment. Try moving back to where you were, and I'll show another video. So what you are seeing there, folks, is healthy, happy chickens interacting. And those are 5-minute videos you can find on YouTube, 5-minute meditation videos. There are several like that. There's some of pigs as well. And you can go and just sit for 5 minutes in peace and silence with either the chickens or the pigs. I think they're phenomenal. And we'll put the link for those as well. Krystal, are you there?
Yeah, is the
It's
feed
better now, but you're still frozen, I think. Are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, well, you can start talking, but your picture is frozen. So I think you need to move to an area where we can, yeah, see, we're getting frozen screens, like as if they were photographs. But it's good. We're getting to see the whole place. It's huge.
Okay, how's this? Usually I have pretty good reception in this yard.
Not so today.
Not working today, huh? Oh man.
It's slow. So just start talking. Tell us about what we're seeing, and if it doesn't pick up, then we'll have you move.
Okay. Well, I left the farm or the potbelly pig yard because that is pretty far down there. That one doesn't surprise me that I didn't have reception.
Okay, so who's in here?
This is the farm pig yard. So this is where we of the more typical meat breed pigs, the great big guys.
Wow.
And there are also 6 potbellies who live in this yard.
Oh.
And they are here because they were small enough to fit through the holes in the fences, and then they grew up, and they just decided that they prefer living with the big pigs than with pigs their own size. So there are 6 little potbellies who live in this yard, along with 22 large breed farm pigs.
That's phenomenal. I love that.
I don't know if you have video again yet, but Smothers is coming up to me. Smothers, come here, buddy.
Not yet. We've got a slideshow kind of thing going on.
So weird.
It is weird, but we'll keep going. I have a couple of questions. Oh my gosh, and I just kind of forgot. Too many things, trying to think of too many things at once. Oh, now I see the cutie. Now who is this?
This is Smothers.
Smothers.
This is a farm pig who was actually born on a meat farm, not a commercial farm, just a kind of a backyard operation. And he was the runt of his family, and so the farmer wasn't going to give him the time of day. He intended to kill him. And his neighbor happened to be there when the pig was giving birth and took this little tiny, not thriving baby and asked if we would take him. And I was honest with her that the chances of survival without colostrum and a mother are pretty low, but that it was willing to give it a try. You know, every animal has or deserves a chance. And so Smothers is just our little miracle baby. He got here at about 3 days old and never expected him to make it. Here he is, about 400 pounds now. Still thinks he's a lap pig because he grew up.
Does he have his snout very close to the screen? Yeah, because we're having trouble seeing. It's really now not even a picture that's visible. Let me show a picture. That's adorable, though. Let me show this picture. And this was a question I asked you off screen, and I wanted to say it. Can you explain, to people, this is a very slender, trim, fit pig. Can you tell us, I always think pigs just automatically put on a lot of weight. Can you tell me what you explained to me, to the audience?
Yeah, a pig is a prey animal by nature. And prey animals, if you think of any other prey animal, they're very, they're quick, they're agile. They need to be able to flee and to run and jump and turn on a dime. And pigs are really no different. The image that most people have of pigs being just massively obese is because that's how we fatten them for our use, for our exploitation. That's how we get the most meat out of a very young animal. And so a healthy pig doesn't look at all like the rotund, almost round animal that most people think of, particularly the Yorkshire pigs. The Yorkshires are the pink pigs, and they're a very long, slender, lean pig. They can jump over fences. We have some that they'll sprint, they'll run, chase each other like dogs. They're very, very athletic, agile, and that's what a healthy pig looks like. What we breed them to be is not at all good for their hearts. It's not good for their joints. We see a lot of arthritis in young pigs under a year old that just comes from carrying so much more weight than they should carry. In the picture that's up there, that's Vivi. And Vivi,
oh, let me get it back up for you. Yeah, you're going to have to move out of that area. You're frozen and it's close up and it's just literally some part of the pig's coat. So we got to get that off the screen if we can. But this is the pig that we were talking about?
Yeah, and she is young as well. And as she ages, her skeletal structure will become a little bit heavier than what you see there, but it'll be her skeleton that's heavier and wider. It shouldn't ever be rolls of fat that's making a pig large.
Now, what about your other pigs? Are you able to maintain their weight to be the correct weight now?
We have so much space that we have never put a farm pig on a diet. We have had pigs come to us overweight, often from like the 4-H or FFA programs. They really pack the pounds on those animals. And we've never had to put one on a diet because just having the multiple acres available to them, they run and they play, and as soon as they start walking the acreage, they really come to a healthy weight on their own.
Wow, that's so interesting. I don't think many of us had known about that. Yeah, we're still not getting a moving picture, Krystal. So I'm going to ask you, I think we've seen that part enough. Can we move to another area or come back on camera? Because we really are not getting really good images for the most part.
I'm going to come up here and see if I can change.
All righty. I'm going to show some of the other animals. I see that you have a goat that has a walker. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, we have three. I'm sorry. We had 3 wheelchair goats. One that's in the picture just passed away last Monday. Very, very sudden, unexpectedly. There was no warning and no explanation for what happened to her.
Wow.
Really tragic, very difficult. So yeah, that's Gracie and Dahlia there. Dahlia is the black one. She was our first disabled goat, and she is still with us and trucking along and just doing fantastically. She's happy and she's as healthy as she could possibly be in spite of her paralysis. But the little beige one, Gracie, we have no answer. It was just a very, very tragic sudden loss last Monday, and I wish I knew more about
sorry
what happened.
about that. And you have a chicken disabled as well, right? We see right there in that photo.
Are you there?
I'm here. Yeah, we're having some reception problems, folks, but I did want to show this disabled rooster who was in the picture as well. And it's so sad for that loss, for the loss of the goat. But, you know, the fact that you take on even the animals that are disabled is just incredible. And everyone can see from this and from even the comments people are making. We have another wonderful regular that I want to give a shout out to, Tina D. Walker. And apparently some of these people are familiar with the sanctuary. So maybe it's not the largest farm sanctuary, never heard of, but a lot more people need to know about it. So we're glad you're here today to share this wonderful place with us. And I did want to just jump in with the t-shirts for a moment. So let me show you folks here how you can help out and get something back as well, which I always love that extra payoff. The beautiful artwork on here. Let me see if I can navigate through here a little bit for us. And so you can see the artwork a little better. Wow, isn't that cool? Live, love, laugh, above all, be kind. Love that. Let me go back. And this one says, vegan for her. Wow. So you are an artist as well.
Well, that one with Penelope, that was my artwork. That was my photograph. And when Penelope passed away, there was an artist commission to turn the photograph into a painting. And so that is an actual painting by an artist who's much, much more gifted than I. And that's a really beautiful piece of art. I love that one.
What about this one?
That's Harry. Harry was our very first large animal. He was about 42 years old when he passed. He was thought to be a very, very old man. He left us in February of 2019. So it's been a little while now, or 2020. Wow, shoot. 2020. Yeah, it's only been 1 year that Harry's been gone.
Well, Harry, you're immortalized here, and that's wonderful. These are great too. I love all of these with your different artwork on them.
That one is the year of logos. So that one's got all, I think it's 10 logos, and they're a little small there. It's hard to see, but you can see some of the different seasons and holidays that I've drawn up.
And it's really affordably, they're affordable, you know.
And Teespring does a lovely job printing. Teespring really does print beautifully. It's full color. It's photograph quality. It's we chose them as our merchandise supplier because of the quality. It really is excellent. I enjoy everything I get from them. I do want to try to walk over to the chicken coops. See if I get good service over there. Are you still with me?
To the stream, there I am. And get you big. There we go. That's what I want. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so where are we going now?
I was going to walk over to the chicken coops and hope that I have good service over there.
Great.
It's not too far, so I think I do. If you're seeing what I'm seeing, the chicken coops are these large structures here that we built.
Yeah.
These are new this year. And inside each chicken coop, we have a covered area that is nice and shaded with a reflecting, completely blackout tarp, so it stays fairly cool under there and shaded. And then there's an open space, and then there's a shade cloth space. These guys at the moment are hanging out here in the shade.
Love it.
These are a number of ex-battery hens. We were able to get hens that had been considered spent as far as eggs go. Mm-hmm. And we were able to get them in between leaving the egg factory and entering the slaughterhouse facility. And so we have a number of these girls, and a lot of them are molting right now, which is actually an amazing thing to see, because when we got them last year, they had no feathers from their confinement, from their caging and their lack of nutrition and natural sunlight and everything that they're put through. And then they feathered out beautifully, and they had these nice full coats through the winter. And this year, for the first time in their lives, they're able to go through a natural molt.
Wow.
So they're looking a little rough right now with all of their missing feathers, but it's actually a beautiful thing to know that they have been able to go through
Yeah.
a bolt due to weather, to it being summertime and being a good time for them to lose the old feathers and grow new ones in for winter.
Yeah, definitely. So,
here's another
wow.
flock where everybody's hanging out back now.
Yeah. Question was, I think you answered it, but I'll just say again, she asked, I think Tom asked if they were egg birds that lay eggs. Or were these roast?
Yeah.
They're what they call
Quite
roosters.
a few of our
They're
birds.
Sorry, go ahead.
This is another flock of the ex-battery hens.
Mm.
We have 3 groups of ex-battery hens, which are the egg layers, the
Yeah.
brown egg layers. And then we're actually working with a couple of groups to get some white egg layers out of the facility this summer. So hopefully that'll happen this month or next month. We've got a couple former white egg layers from a rescue.
That's great. You know, you have one of your comments here. We're having trouble hearing you, Krystal.
They've been with us for about a year and a half.
Krystal, we can't hear you.
You can't hear me. A lot of our older chickens, this flock here is some much older birds. And these largely came from the Los Angeles shelters during the Thomas fires in 2017. The LA shelter sent out an email that said because of all of the pets being evacuated from the Thomas fires, they were going to need to euthanize all poultry to clear out those crates and cages for cats and dogs. And they gave us a 24-hour period. They said, here's your warning. We're waiving all fees. If you can come get them, come get them. And so a friend of mine went to every single LA county and city shelter, and she pulled out 28 chickens that day. Almost all of them. And we were able to take all of those. So this flock is what's left of those 28 birds from 2016.
So, Krystal, we have can you hear me now? Because you couldn't hear me before. Can you hear me? Okay, we have a question from Tom Vincel. Are you able to get vet care for older animals? How do you afford that, I guess is the question. Is that the question? I think so. So how do you, is that a big expense as the animals get older? How do you deal with that? Because you have so many, like 200 pot-bellied pigs as they age and need medical care. How do you afford all that, I guess is the question.
It's a good question. Vet care is a huge expense. It is a fairly large piece of our budget. There is not nearly as much vet care available for these species as I would like. It's actually something that I think I discuss with other sanctuary owners quite a bit. We're all in agreement that the number of vets who will see these animals and see them as more than just a profit loss statement, it's lacking. It really is lacking. There's a definite need for more vets interested in the longevity of these species, not just in getting them to market age and wiping their hands of them. So we do have a vet who comes out to the property, and there's only one who will come out this far because we are quite a ways away. And he's wonderful, and he does all of our routine care. and he does it very well, but he doesn't do specialty care. He doesn't do surgery on the disabled animals we have. He doesn't do amputations. He doesn't do any of that really, I don't want to say experimental, but definitely unique and specialty. And so for that, we actually see a vet up in LA who does help with those more.
So volunteer help you get from different veterinary sources? Is that basically how you're able to afford it?
Definitely.
I see. So if we have any veterinary sources out there that get to see this, because this video will be going out, if you're just joining us, by the way, we are at Steampunk Rescue Barn, Steampunk Sanctuary Rescue Barn, I'll get it right the third time, with Krystal Tronboll, who is one of the co-founders. And Krystal, I just want to jump in with this picture of this cute animal. And I'd like, maybe we can move to see, I see you have turtles and other folks there. Maybe we can see some of those, but who is this person here that we're looking at with you? That looks like a good friend. Is that a dog on the property?
That's an extremely large pig. That's one of our biggest boys. His name is Sylvester, and he's just a love bug. He's an absolute sweetheart. He's a lot of fun. He thought I was a scratching post in that particular picture. I was filling their water trough, and he came up behind me and just started rubbing up against me. And so that was the selfie camera. Just click, 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 click. I took a ton because I couldn't even hold myself upright with him rubbing,
pushing,
800 or so pounds against me. Wow. So
that's phenomenal. Now, this picture here, who is this?
That's Bob. Bob came to us all the way from Monterey. He was a cruelty, confiscation, and neglect investigation up in Monterey County. And so the DA of Monterey County held him during the investigation, and then they were unable to adopt him out because of his size, and he is an intact pig, and their vet would not neuter a pig that size. And so they told me they reached out to everybody in Northern California first because that would be closer to them. And then they just started moving away. And by the time they asked me, I said, yeah, if you can't find anyone else, let's go ahead and bring him here. And so the SPCA of Monterey County drove him all the way out here. He's a real sweet boy too. The big ones, the big pigs are the friendliest.
I just wanted to jump in with a question. I just came to mind. You are in San Diego, correct?
Uh-huh.
And can people come and visit? Do you have tours?
We don't have a real formal tour program. We don't have anything that's scheduled, or if you come out twice, you're not going to get the same tour twice. I don't have anything that's scripted or planned, but I'm more to walk around with people, tell the animal stories. We kind of do it on just contact me and let me know when is good for you. I'm always here, and I welcome visitors to come out and walk around with me and meet the animals and sit with them and rub some bellies, and absolutely always welcome.
And I know that there was one individual that said he just started working with you, helping disabled animals. Let's find him. Steve Rock and Roll Wood. I love that name, Steve. I just joined this stream. Oh, and helping disabled animals is awesome. Oh, maybe he's not. Is he working with you, or he just started? Maybe I misread that.
Yeah, I think he just.
He works with disabled animals, which is wonderful. Yeah. So that is great. And so you do have some cows as well, right?
We do. We have 7 cows.
Now, what are we seeing back there? It's hard to make it out. You had a calf. We were going to talk about, this is something, we got about 15 minutes left, and you did want to talk about rodeo calves a little bit. Can we talk about?
Definitely. Let me see. Chloe and JC are our rodeo calves, and they're not too far from the house. So let's see if I can keep internet and get over to them.
Okay. Let me show a couple pics
Hi, Wendy.
while you're doing that. Oh, that's good. Now, people, if you don't know about rodeo calves, these calves, I learned recently, I always knew they were roped in rodeos, but never really put much thought into it until I did a couple of interviews and found out that these animals are used over and over every day. They're roped around the neck, running 50, 60 miles an hour, maybe not that fast, 30, 40 miles an hour, something like that, very fast, around the throat, ripped back, broken bones, dislocated joints. And it's not done once a day, it's done over and over and over. So tell us the story about these rodeo calves, Krystal, that you have.
Okay, these two girls were about 6 months old, we were told when we got them. You gonna come over? Hi, Jason.
Oh, hi, baby. How sweet.
They were about 6 months we got them, and that was about 3 months ago. So they should be about 9 months old now. And they had been used for roping practice. And so, like you said, it was just over and over and over. And one of them hurt a front leg, or had a front leg hurt, had a back leg hurt. And when we first saw the pictures of them, there was an obvious deformity in one front leg and an obvious deformity in one back leg. And we assumed that that was the. Then when they actually got here and we were able to watch them, it occurred to me that the deformed leg is not the injured one. The one that they are each favoring is the opposite leg. And so it was one leg was injured, and the opposite leg, from taking all the extra weight and doing the work of two legs as these babies grew, became deformed. And so what we've got now is some arthritic conditions, some degenerative bone conditions, not in the joints that were injured, but in the opposite leg, the one that's been taking all the extra weight and the pressure. Hi, baby girl. You getting friendly yet? Oh, you're so brave.
Yeah, exactly. Jamie Sanders says, all rodeos are animal killing events. Of course, animal torture, then killing events.
Yeah.
And anybody that thinks it's cool to have their children learn on sheep mutton busting and is horrible too. I mean, you're teaching your child to be cruel.
Yeah.
Why would anyone do that? Oh goodness, look at that. I think that's the most up and close and personal any farm animal has gotten on my show. So hello, who are these babies?
That's Graham. This is Graham. This is Bubba. These two boys live here because they came from a backyard where they had been abandoned. The people had moved and just left. And they left 4 goats and 6 chickens and a pig. And we were called to pick them up, and we did. And 2 of the goats were intact. That was Bubba and Graham. And Bubba, we immediately realized, or within a couple of days of him being here, that he had some neurological deficiencies. He would walk as if he were completely drunk, almost falling over. And we had the vet out to examine him, and we did blood work, and we treated for infectious causes and nutritional deficiencies, and we just tried a little bit of everything. We had him on steroids for inflammation, and nothing really seemed to work. He has good days and he has bad days, and his neurology is undiagnosed and really undescribed. Our doctor was not comfortable with the idea of putting him through surgery. He said he has no idea what the effect of anesthetic drugs would be on a nervous system that's already misfiring. And so because Bubba has not been castrated, he can't live with the rest of the goats. And I don't know that I would really want him to live with a lot of goats anyway, because when he has one of his episodes, he's fragile. He falls over really easily.
Right. Oops, I think you're frozen. Krystal, we only have a few minutes. Why don't you come on camera?
There you
Because
go.
you're frozen again. Maybe it's good if you just come on camera, get closer to where you can broadcast.
Yeah.
Hi, babies. I love seeing these guys.
They're
We're
gonna
back
lick.
to the slideshow, though, and
Okay,
super extreme close-ups.
Yeah, one quick. You got a little bit of a.
Yeah, go ahead.
Clicking on the camera here. I'll have to clean my camera off and get back to where I've got internet.
Oh, this is great. I mean, you're really doing a phenomenal job showing us the entire sanctuary, and I really thank you for doing that.
Reach at least. We're on 10 acres, and so we definitely didn't get to the bottom. There's a whole lot more down there that apparently the internet just isn't going to reach.
What's down there? Give us a hint. What's down there?
It's the potbelly yard. It's the potbelly.
Okay.
And it's about
the turtles. I have some pictures of those guys too, eating. How many turtles are there?
We have 4. 3 of them came up with us. They were already mine when we moved up here onto the mountain. They've been part of our family for about 10 years. And I was involved in reptile rescue before we moved up here. And so they came to me from a family who had collected them from the wild. They went out to the desert, went camping, collected them way back when it was still legal to do that. It's no longer legal to do that. And captive tortoises can't be released back into the wild because of the diseases that are common in captivity.
Wow.
And
I found one in Beverly Hills one time, and I surrendered him to wildlife service. I found one roaming around in Beverly Hills at the park. I was driving through on Santa Monica Boulevard, and there was, this park area, grass area, and there was a box turtle, that type of turtle, and we brought him in the car, and I took him immediately home and then called them. First, I took him to the shelter. They told me who to call, but how would they get in Beverly Hills? You know what I mean? I mean, obviously people are having animals they shouldn't have.
Right.
So call out Beverly Hills. It could be anywhere, but rather straight. Yeah. So here's one. How long can these turtles live? How long can these guys live?
They could definitely make it to 100.
Wow. So they need long-term care for sure.
Yeah. And
they would not survive on their own at all, of course, because they've been domesticated.
Right. And it's these 3, the 2 that are down here at my feet, and then this biggest one, they brumate over the winter, which is the reptile or the cold-blooded animal form of hibernation. And so they need to be kept warm and dry, and they can't
do they sleep?
They can't brumate. Yeah, they sleep for about 6 or 7 months of the year. No
Steady,
food, no water.
Right through.
And then this little guy over here, this little guy is a sulcata tortoise. He's from a different climate. He's an African tortoise, and he does not brumate. He's awake year round. And so he definitely needs supplemental food, he needs heat, he needs water, he needs everything that he won't get naturally through the winter. He needs that provided for him. So he's not something you could just let go in the wild.
Yeah.
You look thirsty.
Oh, how sweet. Does he walk over to the water himself?
Yeah, he does sometimes, but he's still getting used to it. He was too small to be outside last summer, so this is his first summer outside. So we still show him the ropes, make sure he knows where water is, and Their area here has plenty of shade, so we don't have to be too cautious about making sure he doesn't overheat. But we are trying to teach him the ropes, so to speak. He's new to the outside world.
Krystal, I would love to come and do a show on site live one time. I think that would be so much fun.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to call you when I'm going to be in the area and come on out and do it in person. I would love to come and meet all of these guys in person. But we are running out of time here. I did want to show one more time your Facebook page where people can go to just sign up and kind of, keep in touch with you and so forth. Let's see if that come up correctly on my StreamYard. Yeah, except we want to switch here. Let's just remove you guys and switch. Oh, I'm not getting, but anyway, here's the page. I don't know why I'm larger. And let me just show these banners real quickly. So there's the Instagram page. I'll bring you back on too. Flip you around. And then here is the Facebook.com. So as you can see, folks, it's just Steampunk Farms, really easy to remember here. Wow, Krystal, we've gone through a lot. We've got only 3 minutes left. Can you come back on? Oops, you're upside down. There you are. I love your hat, by the way. That's just
Thank you.
Cool. So we had such a wonderful time here today. Like I said, I would love to come. My family's from San Diego, so I go down there once in a while, and I'd love to come by and do a tour and do a little Jane Unchained. That'd be great.
Yeah, we're way out by Borrego Springs. We're pretty far from the city of San Diego, but if you want to make a day trip, you're more than welcome. We'd love to have you.
That'd be great. That'd be great. I have a couple of friends in mind that might want to come with me and make a day of it. That'd be great. Stop at some vegan restaurants on the way home. But yeah.
Out here you won't find much. We don't even have stop signs out here, so restaurants are definitely a no-go. But on the way home, between here and the city, you've definitely got some great options.
Yeah, for sure.
A really nice vegan community that's growing and thriving. More and more restaurants and events and everything.
That's great. That's great. Is there any last things you want to say to the audience? We've got about 2 minutes left.
I don't think so.
Okay, well, that's good. Guys, as you can see, this is an amazing sanctuary. Krystal and her husband do great work. What's your husband's name?
Eric.
Krystal and Eric do amazing work, and they co-founded this sanctuary. They're saving so many lives. So if you can go visit, if you can buy t-shirts, if you can donate, and spread the word, share out the videos. I forgot to say that today. Share this video. That helps a lot. If you can do a watch party. Go ahead.
I should have mentioned the soap to you.
Ah, what's the soap?
I sell.
Let me see if I can type that in.
It's if you go to Instagram, it's Cleanpunk Soap. CleanPunkSoap. Great,
at Instagram.
Yeah. I make soaps that I name and theme for the different animals, and on the tags it tells their rescue story, a little bit about them.
Great. Oh my gosh, I wish we could.
Little fundraiser for the farm.
Yeah, I'm going to go check that out right after we get off. We don't have time to go find it because it's 11 o'clock and someone else is going to come on any moment. So we got to say goodbye. Stay on, Krystal. We're just going to say goodbye to our audience. Thank you guys for being here every week, supporting the show, commenting, sharing out. It means so much. It means the world to us. And you're really helping the animals by doing so, because we really are helping get the word out. See you next time.
Thank you.
Bye, Krystal.